But now let's get into the show. We have quite a few amazing topics to get into. First off, we have the Browns' victory this weekend. The Browns are devastated with injuries this week, with Nick Chubb, AJ Green, Baker Mayfield, and Kareem Hunt all out. But the backup QB Case Keenum was able to secure a win, albeit against the Denver Broncos, who are currently on a four-game losing streak. But Brandon, I'm coming to you here first. What did you learn about the Cleveland Browns after this win without a few of their offensive pieces?
I mean, even without some of the key pieces on offense, this is a team that is based on a scheme that can put any quarterback in and win. Um, it was, albeit you're right, against the Broncos when they were 3-0, they were hyped, but that was against the Giants, Jets, and the Jags. And obviously, since they've started playing harder opponents, they haven't had as much success. So it was an easier game, but still, they stuck with the scheme, they stuck with the system. That rookie running back, uh, Dearness Johnson, I think it was, he was unreal. I didn't know what to expect. Obviously, we had Kareem Hunt and Nick Chubb out, so we figured the Browns are a run team. Those are the two guys. That's the two-headed monster. They're both out. So this could have been an utter disaster for the Browns. Luckily, they had the rookie running back who stepped up. Case Keenum played decent. I mean, he didn't make too many mistakes. He did what he needed to do. He didn't throw for over 200 yards. He had a pretty lackluster game, but he game managed his way through it, didn't make mistakes, and they won. All I've learned through this is that you could put any quarterback in that system and get a successful result because the one they have isn't very impressive either when he's healthy.
Jin, do you agree? Do you agree that you can plug any quarterback into that Brown system and have them be successful?
Yeah, I definitely think so. I mean, you have the really nice running game going on. Obviously Kareem Hunt and Nick Chubb are both out, and they still were able to pick up the run game. I mean, mind you, the Broncos kind of suck overall. They picked, essentially the easiest games, and then when it comes to hard opponents, they kind of just flop to the ground. I mean, at this point, I think the Teddy Bridgewater experience is over. At this point, they might as well tank for the rest of the season, and pick up somebody in next year's draft, knowing that they'll have a high draft pick. But knowing the GM, instead of drafting a quarterback what he doesn't want to, he's gonna draft some player that he doesn't need, which he has done it in the past couple of years. Bradley Chubb comes in mind when they had the fifth round pick a couple of years back when they needed a QB, didn't pick anybody. And obviously this year's draft with Patrick Surtain the second, obviously picking him up instead of Justin Fields or Mac Jones, which we'll get into later of the show. But those are two better options than Teddy Bridgewater right now.
Speaking of Teddy Bridgewater, um, I just wanted to highlight some things about Baker, seeing as we're all here talking about the Browns versus the Broncos. And with Baker having an extension coming up, obviously he wants big money. Everybody's talking about if he'll get that big contract. This game proved that he's probably not going to get it because Case Keenum came into a system with less and still managed to come out with a win. I know it wasn't against a good team, but any win in the NFL is a win. But here's a few highlights. Again, speaking of Teddy B for Baker, a couple of the QBs that are currently graded better in the league than Baker Mayfield: Teddy Bridgewater, Jameis Winston, Tua, Mac Jones, Jalen Hurts, and Daniel Jones. There are obviously more, but those are some of the elite quarterbacks that are rated higher than Baker Mayfield this year. He's 23rd overall in passing yards among the 32 starting QBs, 14th in pass completion percentage, and 27th overall in passing touchdowns. So I said it last week. I'll say it again this week. He's a system quarterback. He's doing nothing impressive. In fact, he's bottom of the league in almost every statistical category. I don't know why people are talking about him getting 40 million. Maybe because he's the best available, but he's not worth it. And I think this game proved that.
Yeah, I think you might have the same situation with we might run into the same Dak issue where they didn't extend him, they'll put him on a franchise tag next year to see what's going on and whether if he's gonna excel from his franchise tag. And I think that's what the Browns should do. Give Baker another year. They always have that tag option. If he sucks next year, move on from him. Like at the end of the day, it's if you sign him to a massive extension, you still got other players that you gotta pay for, and at this point, to give a sort of non-proven, kind of volatile QB, a massive contract, that's not gonna. Sure, it's gonna help you win some games, but it's gonna help you lose some games too. Baker's not like Dak where he has the motivation. Baker was a number one draft pick. He's in the limelight. Every time I watch the game, I see Baker in his nightgown moving around in the stadium doing the progressive commercial. It just seems like he's way over his head when it comes to some things, and I don't think he's gonna be producing for the Browns, and the Browns is gonna have to bite the bullet and move on. They might have to give up a lot of draft picks down the road to get their franchise QB again.
Go for Deshaun.
Ooh,
They
yeah,
can't. They have no capital.
I know.
It'd be
yeah,
like fifth. It'd be like five first round picks, all in the mid 20s, even mid teens. So
yeah.
it wouldn't make sense for Deshaun. Deshaun's going either to the Panthers.
Hey. We'll get to Deshaun later. We'll get to Deshaun later. Don't ruin the surprise.
All right.
Baker needs to pay whoever does his marketing, man. Like this guy is on so many commercials, you'd actually think he was a good quarterback. Um, but